Hey there, you're welcome back to my free real estate investment course, and this is going to be the fourth video in module 2, right? In the first module we looked at the basis and the foundation of real estate investment, and in this particular module we are looking at the legal aspects of real estate investment. And in this particular video we want to consider 11 documents that are commonly associated with real estate transactions here in Nigeria. And this is to let you know that this is a full real estate investment course. That means we have previous videos before this particular one, and we're going to be having subsequent videos after this particular one. And I encourage you to go through all of the videos so that you would have a full and a better understanding of what we are talking about. So with that being said, I would like you to know that if real estate sounds like what you want to do and you need proper guidance, my team and I here at Ideal Homes and Estate Developers Limited are just the best team to work with. Do call us right now and we would be so glad to serve you much more better. Without further ado, come with me as we jump right into today's video. So the first common document that is associated with real estate investment here in Nigeria is the C of O. I mean, this is very popular. Even a little baby, a newbie in the real estate space, knows that the C of O is very important. What is the C of O? The C of O simply stands for the Certificate of Occupancy. It is an important legal document issued to you by the government, and this grants the holder the right to hold a particular land for a specified term. It's usually up to 99 years. Now the C of O is also the primary proof of land ownership here in Nigeria, and it clearly outlines the terms and conditions under which the land or the property is being held for. Now the second important document is the R of O, which is the right of occupancy. The right of occupancy is a legal right granted by the government to you to occupy and to use a piece of land. It serves as a preliminary step before obtaining a certificate of occupancy. So usually before you get your C of O, after having that offer letter from the government, the next document to have is your R of O before paying the necessary fees to get your C of O. Now the R of O is often granted at the state or the local government level and can be converted into a C of O upon fulfillment of certain conditions like I mentioned earlier on. Now this is just to let you know that the R of O is much more important or valuable as the C of O. It's just the fact that properties that comes with C of O tends to attract more premium than properties that comes with R of O. Though that is just the basic difference. And then the C of O has gone through some necessary level of upgrades, and as such it is attracting a high level of premium, unlike the R of O. So if you want to buy a property, it could come with a R of O or a C of O, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is where this document is coming from. Is it verifiable? Is it correct? Does it align with the rules and regulations, the terms and conditions by which the government gave it for? If all of those facts are established, then I think you're good to go on that property. So the third common document in real estate is the technical deed plan, that is the TDP or the survey plan. Now a technical deed plan or a survey plan is a detailed survey plan that shows the exact boundaries and the measurement of a parcel of land. It is usually prepared by a registered surveyor and is approved by the Surveyor General, and this document is essential for verifying the accurate location and dimensions of that property. So if you're buying a property, you would be given a TDP or a survey plan. Now this TDP contains very important coordinates that lead you straight to where your land is located. If you plot this coordinate wherever you are, whether you're in Dubai and you plot the coordinate, if the land is here in Nigeria, that coordinate will lead you from Dubai down to Nigeria to the exact plot, the exact location where your land is situated. So you can see how important this TDP is. So usually when you're buying a land, the C of O or the R of O must be attached or must be backed up by this TDP to lead you to where exactly your land is located. And also you could see the shape, if your land is a tableland or is a curvy land or is a rectangular land or is like a circle land. Anyhow the shape of your land is going to be revealed by this TDP or the survey plan. So the fourth common document in real estate transaction is of course the power of attorney. Now the power of attorney is a legal document that grants you the right or the legal authority to act on behalf of another person. Yes, it simply means that, hey, I'm transferring my legal right on this property to Mr. A. So he can choose to sell the property on my behalf, he can choose to lease it, he can choose to develop the land, he can choose to do whatever he wants to do on that land. So if you're buying a property or you're selling a property, the power of attorney, the transfer of authority to the next buyer, to the next owner, is very, very important. So the power of attorney must be clearly and properly executed, and more importantly, it must be registered at the land registry, to be valid for property dealings. It is very important that you register it. I see most people just have a signed power of attorney between both parties, and without registering it at the land registry, it is not 100% complete. For you to have a proper dealing in real estate transactions, you must go register that power of attorney in the land registry, so that the land registry would also take note that, hey, power or authority has been transferred from this person to this person. So importantly, do well to register your power of attorney if you've not done so. Now, the fifth common document is the deed of assignment or the deed of conveyance, whichever one you choose to call it, and it is mostly associated with the power of attorney. They come together, power of attorney and deed of assignment. The deed of assignment is a legal document that transfers ownership of property from the seller to the buyer. Now, what makes the deed of assignment different from the power of attorney is the fact that the deed of assignment captures the detailed term of the transfer, including the description of the property, the parties involved, and the agreed consideration, that is the price. The price is captured in the deed of assignment, right? Now, this document must be registered with the relevant land registry to perfect the buyer's title. It is important again that you register your power of attorney and your deed of assignment, especially if you're the one buying. So in summary, your power of attorney actually represents your legal interest, while the deed of assignment actually represents your equitable interest. So the sixth important document is the sales receipt. The sales receipt. A sales receipt is a document that is issued by the seller to the buyer as proof of payment for a particular property. It typically includes the details such as the property description, amount paid, date of payment, and the signatures of both parties. This document is a crucial one for verifying that the transaction has taken place, especially if you're buying a landed property from an estate developing company. It is important that you get your sales receipt. This simply just indicates that yes, the person or the company attests to the fact that he or she has received a payment from you, and then for that reason he is signing a receipt to you. So it is very important that you get your sales receipt whenever you make a commitment for any property. The next document is the offer letter. An offer letter is a document that is issued by the seller or a company to you, the buyer, and it usually contains the terms and conditions under which such property is being given for sale. So it includes details such as the purchase price, the payment term, and any other important conditions or rules or regulations that you must be aware of before the sale is completed, so that you don't feel cheated after making payment on that property. In a situation whereby you want to get a property from an estate company, first of all, after filling your interest form, an offer letter will be given to you to clearly state the terms and conditions of that particular project, what you can do in the estate, what you can do with the property, your rights, your whatever that you need to know, infrastructural fee, development level, whatever you need to know about that property. If you look at it and then you look at it and say, okay, well, I think I'm comfortable with these terms and conditions, an account number would be down below that offer letter where you can proceed to make payment for that particular property. Then the company can proceed further to issue other documents that are necessary after your payment has been confirmed. So I encourage you, especially if you're looking to buying an estate property, go through the offer letter so that every hidden charges will be revealed to you before you make a commitment on that property. So the offer letter is very, very important. So the next document is the allocation letter. An allocation letter is issued by the government or a property developer to allocate a specific plot of land to you, the buyer. So the allocation letter usually comes after the sales receipt and the offer letter, right? Showing that, look, you're okay with the terms and conditions that the estate developer is giving you, you've made payment, and then the allocation letter comes afterwards to say this is your plot number, this is the information or the details of that land or that property you acquired from us. So usually if you want to transfer title document when it comes to an estate land, it is the allocation letter that stands as the C of O. Without an allocation letter, you cannot transfer title of document to the next buyer. So your allocation letter is very, very important. So the next document is the contract for sale. A contract for sale is a legally binding agreement between the buyer and the seller outlining the terms and conditions of that property sale, right? It includes details such as the purchase price, payment schedule, obligation of both parties, and the conditions precedent to completion. Now, the contract for sale is essentially for formalization or formalizing the transaction. The next document is the contract for sale. The contract for sale or a contract for sale is a legally binding agreement between the buyer and the seller outlining the terms and conditions of the property sale. It includes details such as the purchase price, payment schedule, obligations of both parties, and conditions precedent to completion. This contract is essential for formalizing that transaction. So in a layman term or a layman understanding, the contract for sale simply means I want to buy this property, but I don't have the complete money. I want to flow on a payment plan, and this payment plan will come or would come in based on the level of work or the improvement that you, the owner of the property, is doing on that particular property. So I could say, okay, I would make 50 million naira deposit, and then you need to do this. When I make this deposit, I need to see this. So that could be part of the information captured in a contract for sale. A contract for sale is very, very flexible. It must not be in such scenario I just mentioned. It could be anyhow or any information you want to capture in that particular document. So the 10th document is the LOI, which is the letter of intent. It is a non-binding document that outlines the preliminary understanding between the buyer and the seller regarding the purchase of the property. Now, I want to say that the LOI is not a transactional document like the C of O or the R of O. I've seen people come to me and say, oh, Andrew, I want to sell my property. When I ask what document does a property have, they tend to say, letter of intent. Letter of intent is not a transactable document. When somebody wants to sell a property to you and the person says he has letter of intent, please do not proceed further on that transaction, because letter of intent is not a transactional document. So the final document we want to look at is the building plan approval. This is also another document that is associated with real estate transactions here in Nigeria. A building plan approval is a document that is issued by the relevant local government authority that approves the architectural and structural designs of a building project. This approval ensures that the building plans comply with local building codes and regulations. It is also a prerequisite for legally commencing construction on that property. So here in Nigeria and here in the FCT Abuja, the body that is responsible for issuing building plan approval is the development control. So if you want to, or before you proceed on a building project, you must approach that body to get a building approval license. So it is also a common document that is associated with real estate transactions here in Nigeria. So far, we've been able to look at 11 documents that are associated with real estate transactions here in Nigeria. And just to let you know that other documents could come by depending on your state or the country where you're operating from, right? Like in Lagos, they have documents such as Gazette or governor's consent or whatever kind of document. And in Delta or in the East or anywhere, any part of the country, there could be other necessary documents that comes with real estate transactions. So let us know what other documents that are associated with real estate transactions in your city or in your country, right? So that we would also be abreast with those information. So by understanding the importance of these documents, you as a buyer or you as a seller would have a smooth sale in real estate transactions here in Nigeria. So please, before you make payment for any property, do well to ask for such documents before the money leaves your hand to the seller. So stay tuned on this particular real estate course, because on the next video we are going to be looking at 5 important documents to get after making commitment on a particular property. This is a question I get quite often. Oh, Andrew, when I make payment for property, what are those documents I need to get? So we're going to be looking at those points in our next videos. So stick around and join me as we delve into the next video. So I hope you found this video very, very insightful, and if you did, do want to give it a thumbs up, like it, share it with your loved ones so that they also would be informed about the necessary documents they need to request for when they are embarking on a property transaction here in Nigeria. This is what we do as professionals in the business. We help guide our prospects on how to have a smooth sail when it comes to real estate transactions here in Nigeria. My team and I here at ID Loans and Estate Developers Limited are just the best team to work with when it comes to real estate transactions here in Nigeria, especially in the FCT, right? So do well to give us a call today, and we would be so glad to get you started on this journey. Up until then, I'll see you on the next one.